Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing the GTX 1650 Super in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I am playing the game with a Ryzen 7 3700X and 16 gigs of RAM. I'm using the latest Nvidia drivers as well, 457.30. You can see them right there as well in MS Afterburner, which is the tool that I'm using to display the FPS and stuff like that, along with RivetTuner over here. This one is the Asus Phoenix OC model of this card. Let's get right into the game, my friends. I'm playing at 1080p resolution using 100% resolution scale, of course, so we are testing native 1080p, and I'm going to be playing at low, medium, high, and very high settings. I think very high settings will drop us from 30 FPS, so I won't bother with ultra high. Starting off with the low settings, here we go. Alright, here we are. Let's just raid this little town over here, of course, as always. I'm gonna start counting our FPS. This game tends to stutter a little bit, by the way, sometimes, whenever you're rendering in new things into the memory or whatever. I've seen a couple of people saying that the game doesn't stutter for them and it actually runs fine, but at least in my experience, whenever you get into a new town or a new area in the map, it just stutters a little bit, you know? So, it's very bad to see that, of course, because it means that the game wasn't really that well optimized and still isn't. I have ran through this benchmark run once already before starting the recording session over here, because, well, it just makes for a much smoother experience. Otherwise, we'd be stuttering quite a bit here. Anyways, right now, it seems to be doing a fantastic job, the 1650 Super here. It's still not 60 plus FPS all of the time, of course. It does reach 60 at times, but it's very, very demanding, this game, you know. Now, outside of towns like this one, you can achieve 60 plus FPS easily, but whenever you get into a town area, it just becomes really, really intensive. That's completely normal in this game, and you shouldn't really expect 60 plus FPS coming from a 1650 Super in these newer titles, at least. These very, very demanding ones, you know. The good thing is, the game's completely playable below 60 FPS. As long as you have like 30 plus, I will say that it's a very playable and enjoyable experience. I like to aim for like 40 plus FPS in single player titles with these lower end cards. That's just me. You might aim for like 30 FPS locked. That's also a pretty decent experience. Plug a controller into your PC and you'll have like a console experience, you know. By the way, I did verify the game files in this one. Everything was fine. There you go. A stutter there. That's what I was talking about. New area. Again, this is a new area, so the game tends to stutter. Now, I've seen a lot of people with the same issues on Reddit. I've also seen a website stating that the game runs the same for them. Whenever they walk into a new area, it stutters. So that's exactly what I'm experiencing here in this game. I think they should fix that with a patch pretty soon, hopefully. I really hope so. But for now, we gotta just play like this, you know, a couple of stutters here and there. Alright guys, we just restarted the game, 1080p resolution, 100% resolution scale with the medium settings preset this time around. I'm just gonna disable motion blur because I don't like that, and there we go. Now, I would probably play this game at medium settings. We're seeing 30 something FPS now with the 1650 Super, so that's not very impressive, to be honest. 1% lows are dropping from 30 just because some micro stutters there. I couldn't really notice those, so that's absolutely fine. But just keep in mind that medium settings is a lot more intensive than low settings, and that shows right now. We're in the 30s, we were in the like high 40s, low 50s on low settings, so this is extremely demanding right now. It's definitely still playable though, and I would probably choose to play at medium settings instead of low, just because the game looks way better on medium, especially those textures and the reflections and stuff like that, the lighting, you know. It looks a lot better. I definitely choose to play like this. 45 right now on average, that is pretty good. Okay, so FPS have stabilized right now. It seems like right there by the shore is where you should expect the least FPS, at least in this area of the map. I have explored a lot of the map already, at least this initial part of it, and I found that this was basically a very good benchmark to test these GPUs with. But yeah, that's pretty much it for our village test here at medium settings. It runs pretty decently, okay? It drops into the 30s and sometimes to the mid 30s, but that's absolutely fine still for this GPU. Playable experience. I'm just gonna go ahead now and get out of here to see our frames outside. Where's my boy? Come over here, boy. Okay, there we go. So stutter there, not really that big of a deal. It should stutter less now because we've already been to this area on the low settings. So yeah, we're not really seeing those very deep stutters anymore because it's already loaded. Yeah, that's a real problem here with this game, guys. I don't understand why it happens. It's probably the DirectX 12 implementation in this one, but I'm not sure. I don't know, again, I'm just reporting what I am experiencing here, and it seems to be in line with a lot of other people as well. Okay, maybe I'll die, actually, even on the easiest difficulty. Oh my gosh, okay, yeah. Alright, I don't really like that the dodge key is Alt instead of space. It could have been space, you know. Game looks gorgeous at medium settings. I'd play like this, basically, okay? Okay, here we go, just restarted it, 1080p resolution, high settings, and let's disable motion blur once again. Let's do this. Oh my god, okay, well, I know what's going on. We've seen the VRAM utilization with other GPUs like the 578GB as well as the 588GB going above 4GB at the high settings. Now, the 1650 Super, of course, only has 4 gigs of memory. So that's why we're seeing these low FPS right now. We're going over our VRAM limitation, unfortunately, and things just become a mess, basically. It's not really playable at high settings. I was hoping to test this one at very high settings as well, and I thought it would actually run well, but it seems like, unfortunately, with a 4 gig card, well, the best you can do is medium settings, smoothly at least, unless you don't mind a couple of drops, the FPS to be at 15 sometimes, you know. Well, that's, yeah, this is really bad, guys. So just stick to medium if you want a good visual fidelity with pretty decent and playable frame rates. I'd play like that, definitely, especially after seeing high settings. If high settings was above 30 FPS all of the time, it would have been perfect, but, well, it isn't, so just avoid high settings with 4 gig cards. I'm very curious to see how 2 gig cards will perform in this one, by the way, because even on the low settings, this game, it's like 3.1 gigabytes of VRAM. At 1080p, so it will be interesting to check out a couple of 2 gig cards like a GTX 960, but yeah, that's for another date. Thank you very much for watching this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how this game is running for you. Let me know if you will be picking this up in its current state or if you'll wait for a patch or whatever. I'll read those comments as always, and again, thank you for watching. Love you all. Bye bye.